Have you ever been thinking about investing and thinking about doing it in a very traditional way where you just go and buy something, and whether that is a stock where you're just going to go on something like Robinhood, click on a button and purchase a share of stock or an ETF for that matter, or you're just going to get into real estate because it is a new decade, it is a new year, and you're thinking, all right, we're going to do this. I'm going to actually go out there and start investing in real estate. And you go out, you go to the market and you just buy something. If you have a fear about what you're about to do, there's a reason for that. Many people are afraid of investing because of fear of losing money. And while, yes, there is a fun acronym that you likely have heard of that says FEAR stands for false evidence appearing real, while, yes, there's some arguments, so we can say, yeah, there's part of it is that, there's also some truth to having the fear. And here is, I'm going to explain to kind of how the traditional way to purchase real estate works and why your fear is actually not all that false evidenced. All right, ready? Here we go. I'm going to prove you that you're right. So say that you want to buy a house, right? Hopefully you can see my little doodling. There we go. We'll give it a roof. And say that the house is valued at $100,000. Now, most of the way the folks are going to invest, they're going to put 20% down, right? And they're going to finance it 80%. So that means you owe $80,000. Fair? Okay, cool. 20,000 goes down, 80,000 is financed, you bought an asset. Now, here is where vast majority of investors get into. They rely on getting the market value to go up. Now, before I just stand here and you're saying, why is he preaching to me? I want you to understand that I have done the same thing. When I first started investing and going into it, my biggest concept, my biggest thought was appreciating asset, right? So you would buy something and then you hope and pray that it goes up in a value so that you can sell it and make money. Fair? And that is the basic of investing, that is the basic of trading, that is the basic of like resale, all of those different things. Those are the basic things, right? Like you buy low, you sell high. Super simple. In practice, it's not all that easy. And here is kind of what's happening. So this is what we've done. We bought a house at the market value and we've done the traditional way, 20% down, 80% financed. Now, there's the Mr. Market, and we're going to call him M. Hold on, my market is not playing along. All right, so we have a market right here, right? And say that the market, it goes up 20%. 20% up. Okay, you get it, right? Well, that means that my house now is worth $120,000. Cool, I win, right? Like this is me super happy. Fair? All right. Now, what happens if the market actually goes down, say, 50%, which has happened before, and there's a probability that it might happen again, right? History tends to rhyme. History tends to repeat itself to a degree. Well, if it goes down 50%, my house is now only worth $50,000, right? But how much do I owe on it? Well, I owe $80,000. That means not only did I lose my $20,000 that I have put down, which is hardcore cash, but I've also lost, or I'm losing, now I owe way more money than the asset is worth. This is where the fear comes in. Would you agree, right? This is the part where people are afraid of investing in anything whatsoever. But there's a guy, you might have heard of him, Warren Buffett, who talks about investing in value stocks, yes? I know you're thinking, what do stocks have to do with real estate, Nev? When he talks about stocks, stocks are equity. Real estate, when you own it fully, is also equity, okay? So there's transferable things that happen between the asset classes that a lot of times people don't connect. Now, Warren Buffett is not the person who actually came up with the whole value investing. That was Benjamin Graham. And Warren Buffett was a student of Benjamin Graham. But basically what they said is, can we find an asset that has a high value, right? When we do the valuation, we find out that it has high value, but the price we pay is low, right? It's sort of like a set percentage of the actual value. So that is how Warren Buffett invests. That is how he talks about investing. That's what Benjamin Graham did, and that's what he taught his students. And that's where the value investing kind of comes in. Now, they focus predominantly on equities, right? But we can focus on another asset class that also has a potential equity. And I tend to prefer real estate for a couple of reasons. One, it's a bit slower moving. Two, manipulation is a bit harder to do with my particular asset. Now, you can manipulate the market, you can manipulate interest rates, you can manipulate all kinds of different things, right? Like whether money is easy to borrow or not easy to borrow, expensive or cheap. Those are the ways that you can manipulate the market, but you can't really manipulate my house per se. Now, the government can come in and say, we need to take your house because we're going to be building a highway right through where your property is, but they're not going to just steal it. They will pay for it and kick me out. So it's not going to be pretty. It doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen. So I want to make sure that you understand that as well. But they can't manipulate it in another way. Fair? Whereas with stocks, it's pretty easy to manipulate it. Not only can they manipulate the market and what happens and whether money is cheap or expensive, but they can also manipulate it. The companies can manipulate it by having certain liabilities off balance sheet, by engaging in derivatives, which are typically off balance sheet and typically so hidden, so deep inside that frankly, even vast majority of accountants can't always find it. They tend to sometimes buy their own stocks, which I'm sure you have heard of, only to boost their share or the price per share, but their earnings are not all that good. So there's all kinds of things that are happening that I don't like it, right? I don't enjoy it. I tend to depend on other people to have to do certain things. And right now I'm just not, I'm wary of it. Okay, let's just put it that way. So I prefer to do this with this stuff. But now let's talk value investing when it comes to real estate. So there's a house, say it's the same house, $100,000, but because it's a value property and I'm buying it for percentage of it, right? I'm able to go out there and find this exact same property, but instead of putting only 20% down to buy it and finance it 80%, I actually buy the house for $20,000. That's it. That's it. That's all I pay, right? So I buy the entire house, so entire $100,000 worth for $20,000. That's value investing. Now, here's what ends up happening. It goes right back to the market. All right, so there's Mr. Market. Say it goes up 20%, right? Well, it doesn't go up 20% only on my price. It goes up 20% on the value of the property. So the property is going to be worth how much? $120,000, right? Okay, hopefully you can see this. Okay, if it goes down 50%, just like it did in the previous example, the property value is going to be $50,000, okay? All right, you can't really see this. So 120, 50,000, right? Now you might say, well, oh my gosh, it dropped down to 50, but what was my price? My price was 20. So if the market goes up 20%, I win. If the market drops down 50%, I win. Actually, in this case scenario, market can drop all the way down to 80%, and I still haven't lost a penny. A penny, okay? This is why value investing is so powerful, so important, and so cool. And this is the part where I really, really like what Benjamin Graham and, Warren Buffett is doing it, but Benjamin Graham was teaching it. What they're teaching when they're talking about this stuff, right? If you have read any of the Robert Kiyosaki's books, watched some of his stuff, done some training and stuff, you will hear him talk a lot about that you make money when you buy, not when you sell. And this is basically what he was talking about, that you buy something that it has way more value than the amount of money you are paying for it, and then you just let it do its thing. Now, real estate is pretty cool because with this house, I don't have to just rely on the market in order to make money, right? So this is one way to play in real estate. There are multiple strategies around real estate and multiple sort of niches within real estate as well. And value investing is just one niche. But my thing is, I want to find a way to find a property at the most valuable opportunity and option, right? And then I can go and engage in other strategies of how I can play with that property and what I end up doing with it. So I hope this was helpful to you. I hope you have enjoyed it. I hope you have, it opened your eyes of sort of the difference of what most people tell you of how to get into stuff and what we actually teach at One Deal Away. If this is something that is interesting to you, I'm going to be doing more of these videos. I enjoy actually teaching a whole lot. And so I'm excited to start posting some of the videos and posting some of the thoughts and beliefs and kind of like my line of thinking and just who I am and kind of how I process the world. So if that's of interest to you, just subscribe, follow, hit me up, let me know. And if you have any questions about anything, please put it below the video and I'll be happy to respond and potentially even make a video that pertains to the questions that you have. Thank you for watching. Until next time, stay forever money blessed. And do remember, you are only one deal away.